Today I'm going to take a look at Arkansas's 2025 football schedule and give my final record prediction ahead of the start of the season. In taking a look at the overall schedule, there's at least 3 games here that Arkansas absolutely should win, those being Alabama A&M, Arkansas State, and at Memphis, which the fact that they're traveling on the road for that game is very stupid, to put it bluntly. I mean, with all due respect to Memphis, there is no SEC program that should be traveling on the road for a game against a non-Power 4 school. So, hats off to whoever scheduled that, Jim. But I digress. It is a game that they should still handle business and win nonetheless. Then taking a look at games like at Ole Miss, who was just shy of making the college football playoffs a season ago, and versus national champion runner-up Notre Dame. Obviously, neither one of those are likely to be easy. Ole Miss is projected to take a bit of a step back defensively, and both teams will be breaking in new starters at quarterback. The Ole Miss game feels like a bit of a toss-up, and the Notre Dame game, in my opinion, at least feels a little bit more winnable than what the national expectation is. I think Marcus Freeman is a tremendous coach, and that defense is likely going to be very stout once again. But as I said, with them having to break in a new, inexperienced starter at the quarterback position and coming into Razorback Stadium in the early portion of the season should somewhat help the Hogs. Most people will probably project them to be 3-2 after that first 5-game stretch, but I'm going to go ahead and say they split one of those games against Ole Miss and Notre Dame and start off a hot 4-1 on the season. Then they get a bye before heading to Rocky Top to take on the Tennessee Volunteers, which should be another very tough game. If Nico Imaliava was still the starting quarterback there, I'd probably just go ahead and mark that as an automatic loss. But because he's not, and because they are also breaking in a new starter at quarterback, I feel a little bit better about the Hogs' chances there, but I'm still going to go ahead and predict that as a loss for now. Then in looking at the back half of the schedule, at this point, I would have them winning their home games against Auburn, Mississippi State, and Missouri, and losing their road games at LSU and at Texas. And the game that I intentionally left out is their home contest against Texas A&M, and that's because I don't really feel strongly one way or the other yet about that one. I feel like that's another toss-up. But because that game is at home, and because I have immediately begun to partake in some Kool-Aid consumption, I'll go ahead and give the Hogs the benefit of the doubt in that one and say they shock some folks by going 8-4 in the regular season. Which, to be honest, if someone else would have gave me that record prediction a month or 2 ago, I probably would have smacked him in the face and told him to wake up. But as I've begun to take a closer look at Arkansas's roster, I really like the makeup of this team. I like our coaching staff, and do think this is a group that wins 6 to 8 games. Anything more than that with this schedule, and you're in all likelihood talking about a college football playoff team, as crazy as that sounds and probably is. But 8-4 does feel like the ceiling for this team in my mind, and although I usually wouldn't go with my ceiling as my final record prediction, I do, however, feel good about this group, and obviously a lot of this is contingent upon the Razorbacks, Lord willing, remaining relatively healthy. For example, they clearly can't afford to lose someone like Taylon Green at the quarterback position. But as I said, I do feel good about this group, and in this era of the transfer portal where there's massive roster turnover across the board and across the country, feeling is about as good as anything we have to go off of right now. But let me know what y'all think. What is your preseason record prediction for the Arkansas Razorbacks in 2025?